Usually, by the way, let me make this point. Usually, people's definition of you are wealthy or you are not is, do you have more money than me? Which you can never really actually tell if somebody has more money than you. So really the definition is, do you have nicer stuff than I have? Or do you have something that I can't afford or I don't think that I can afford? That's pretty much the only way that the average person defines somebody else as wealthy. You know the old saying, if you buy a $100,000 car, the only thing I know is that you either spent $100,000 or you owe somebody $100,000. That's it. That's all I actually know about your wealth. But if I could, I don't know, entertain me for a moment. If I could, I thought that I would try and break down these levels, at least from my perspective. Okay, because there's a difference between wealthy enough to give your 47-year-old $1,000 a month and wealthy enough so that somebody has $500,000 of free spending money a year. And where does that, how does that go? You know, it's not a linear line. Okay. So, I'll try to define these. Let's just keep it simple. Okay. Let's keep it simple. Ready? There's normal people wealthy. There's like smart people wealthy. And then there's like rich people wealthy. Okay. That's what we're going to use today. So let's do this. Normal people. Here's normal people wealthy for a second. By the way, normal people wealthy is what most people should try to be, because it's the risk-adjusted, easiest way to accumulate money. It just is. Most people should try to be normal people wealth. It's like the millionaire next door. That's the quintessential normal person wealth. You know, they save money into a 401k. They live within their means. They don't accumulate a ton of debt. And all of a sudden, you follow this boring strategy of spending less than you make and saving the difference consistently. And all of a sudden, after 20 or 30 or 40 years, you got like 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 million bucks in a 401k, and you go, I guess I've got money now. That's normal people wealthy. The whole trick to being normal people wealthy is very simple. You just can't ever let your desires outgrow your income. That's it. If you can do that your entire life for a long period of time, you will have financial stability and peace, probably beyond your wildest dreams when you first get a job. I don't think people think about, like, if you start a career and you have the same career for 30 years, cost of living doubles roughly every like 18 years-ish on average, we'll say. So in 30 years, it might cost of living double twice. Your cost of living might double twice. So if you start out and you're making a $50,000 salary when you get a first job, that same exact job is going to be $200,000 at the end of your career. Okay. Now, most people don't re-rate their like cost of living. They don't redenominate the cost of living in their brain as they kind of age. Certainly the classic millionaire next door doesn't. You know, if you were to like stereotype them, you know, they got $2 million in a 401k, live on 90 grand when they retire, and they live in a $300,000 house they bought 30 years ago for something way less. Right. And so a house that might be $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000 now, to them in their mind is always that $65,000 house they bought on a corner lot when nobody else is in the neighborhood, yada, yada, you know, that stuff. So, yeah, a $50,000 salary, assuming no merit raises, you just get cost of living adjustments over an entire career, literally becomes 200 grand. But the thing is, if you're able to live in one house and you buy that house with debt, like most people do, you get a mortgage and you lock in that debt for a long period of time, all of a sudden inflation becomes your friend. You can pay it off much faster, or at least it's much more manageable, we'll say. You know, your first mortgage payment is a much bigger hit against your pay stub than the last mortgage payment that you make when you finally pay it off.